Close big fight for you coming up in Chicago. Just how important is this one for you after what happened the last time out?
Yeah, I mean, every fight is definitely the biggest one. So each time you're like, this is the biggest fight ever. You get another one, it's even bigger. So it's kind of, I'm used to that. It's all the same. But yeah, it's number one contender fight. So kind of the same thing as my situation for the last fight. So I'm lucky I get kind of like a second chance for that.
Yeah, how good does that feel? Especially kind of let that one slip through your fingers a bit. You see where Jessica is, but again, you're right back in that slot, so that kind of shows what they think of you, obviously.
Yeah, obviously I was bummed out. I missed the opportunity for the title shot on a controversial split decision. So I'm just lucky that my next fight was the same position. So hopefully I'll make adjustments and won't let that mistake happen again.
Right. How long do you hold on to that result for? Like, obviously, I'm sure you probably felt you won the fight that night, right? And then you look back, you see where Jessica is. Like, is that something you just have to let go?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I let it go by the end of that night. It sucks, you go in the back, you get upset, and then at the end, then I see my parents, and I'm like, all right, life goes on whether you win or lose. So I'll just move on. And I mean, I could sit around and cry about it, but that's not going to change anything. So just move on pretty quickly.
And JoJo has come out and said that she is being told that if something happens to the co-main event there, that title fight, she's going to be the replacement fighter. Did they say anything to you?
Yeah, they told me that too, and I would imagine I'm ranked 3, she's 7, so it kind of makes sense. I just lost a split decision to someone fighting for the title, and she just beat a debuter, so it doesn't really make sense for her to get that over me. I think that makes perfect sense, but yeah, I'm sure she wants that. Everyone does.
Yeah, so are you trying to get to the bottom of this? Like, clearly telling me both the same thing here. What's going to happen if it actually goes down? Or are you kind of explaining you're the higher ranked fighter, so you feel like you should get it?
Yeah, I'm confident I would get it, but I'm not concerned with that. I'm just concerned with my fight. If that happens, we'll figure it out then. It was the same situation for me my last fight when me and Jessica were on. I was also the backup, so I've been there and done that before, so I'm not worried about it. We'll figure it out if it happens. If not, I'll focus on Joanne.
How do you actually see that fight between Jessica and Valentina going?
I definitely see Valentina winning. I don't really see where. I think Jessica's a good fighter, but I don't see where she could beat her pretty much anywhere. She doesn't have as good a striking, as good a cardio, explosiveness. She doesn't have wrestling to take her down, and if she does, I think their jiu-jitsu is pretty equal.
What about the matchup with JoJo? I mean, she's come out and said some things. She feels like you run in there, and she's said she's gonna have to chase you and make you fight. Like, do you take any of that stuff personally, or what do you just make of those comments with her about your style?
No, I mean, I think if you kind of lack understanding of footwork and technique, you can kind of say that I just run away. I'm not the type of fighter that just stands there and doesn't move and just punches and gets hit. If you look at all my fights, a criticism of mine is that I run away, but if you look at all my fights, like I usually have no marks on my face, and my other opponent's faces are completely marked up. So I'm obviously hitting them. It's working. Like I said, I just think it's people that don't really understand high-level footwork and movement, so they kind of criticize it and just say, "Oh, I'm gonna fight. I want to have a war." It's like you have to do that because you don't have technique or footwork. So. It doesn't bother me. I think it probably bothers her because she definitely has cardio issues, and keeping up with my pace is really hard.
Do you get annoyed by comments like that when people are like, let's get in there and you're running? Do you just get bored by those comments, or do you just not even pay attention?
Yeah, it really doesn't bother me at all. I've kind of had that criticism, but I mean, I only have 2 losses. Like, I win, so really the only thing that matters is winning. My good friend Gregor Gillespie, he always says about how winning's the only important thing. That's it. Doesn't matter how you win, just winning. He always says, like, if I have to take them down and just lay on them the entire time and get booed, doesn't matter. He's like, winning's all that's important. So
with the history of title shots in the UFC being it is what it is, do you worry that this might not be a title eliminator? Someone might sneak in there somehow?
Not really. It just because you see so many things happen. It's kind of you can't hope for anything. I can't be like, oh, if I win this, I'm definitely getting a title shot. Even if they tell you that, it doesn't matter. So you just have to take it one fight at a time. And, you've seen, I trained with Sajara Eubanks, and she signed a contract to fight for the title, and then they took it away and gave it to Joanna. So it doesn't really matter what they say so you have to be prepared and able to adjust to any situation and not let it get too emotional about it.
You kind of glad Star moved up. You guys don't really have to have this discussion anymore about potentially crossing paths for the title and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, we spar. She's my main sparring partner, and same for her. So it's definitely just easier for us, especially both being ranked right next to each other. It's definitely better for both of us.
And, this could be a very good year, Marlon fighting for the title.
Yes.
You have it by the end of the year. Like, how much momentum and how much excitement is there in the gym right now?
Yeah, it's always been like that. We have such a small group. We're not but I mean, almost every fighter's that we have is in the top 10, which is pretty crazy for how small we are. I mean, we train with Mark Henry in his basement. I go over and his wife's having coffee and he's in the basement before he runs, and he's, we're done. He's like, all right, I gotta go, and runs to the pizzeria. It's weird because then you see people at ATT and these huge camps. It's just it's a totally different world there. But I like it. It feels like we feel like a family. So when Marlon gets a title shot, it feels like I'm getting a title shot. It's super exciting. And with him, Frankie, Zabit, everyone, it's a small group, and I think it works well for us.
You pulling an all-nighter tonight for Eddie?
Huh?
You pulling an all-nighter tonight?
Yeah. There's Eddie and then Gary Tonin are fighting. So I'm like, oh my God, this is fight craziness. I'm I'm already jet lagged from watching. So yeah, I'm excited.
Perfect.
Katlyn, I don't know if you watch or listen to Michael Bisping's podcast or not, but he said that you left him with 177 body
Yes. I called him out. I was like, excuse me, I'm going to explain to you what happened that night, because I'm almost positive you don't remember what happened because of the state that you were in. But it definitely wasn't it. I went to pay my time, and he's like, absolutely not, I got it. Oh, I'm like, are you sure? Okay. And then he went on his podcast and said that I stiffed him with a bill. I was like, wait a minute. I DM'd him. I was like, that's not what happened. He's like, no, I was just joking. I'm like, yeah, I'm getting death threats on. I'm like, no one. I'm like, all my social media is just saying that I stiffed him out of the tab. I was like, that's not what happened. I have his DMs to prove it. So next time I see him, I'm gonna have to, rough him up a little bit.
All right.
What's it like drinking with Michael Bisping?
I mean, I wouldn't say I did. I would never be able to keep up. So yeah, interesting. It's exactly how you would picture it.
How many shots of tequila did he rip?
I don't know. Definitely a few.